India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday held bilateral talks with Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq in New Delhi to boost India-Oman strategic partnership. Both the leaders held talks on areas of mutual interest. The diplomatic relations between the two countries were established in 1955. Currently, both the countries share a long-standing friendship rooted in historical, cultural and economic ties. This is the first visit to India by Oman Sultan in nearly 25 years. Earlier today, the Sultan of Oman was accorded a ceremonial reception at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu received the Sultan at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Sultan Haitham bin Tariq was accorded with Guard of Honor by Combined Defence Services. The Sultan arrived in India at the invitation of President Draupadi Murmu. India celebrates Vijay Diwas today, commemorating the victory of Indian Armed Forces in Operation Vijay against Pakistan in the 1971 war. Paying tribute to the brave hearts, Indian President Draupadi Murmu posted on social media, and I quote, "The nation remembers with gratitude the selfless sacrifice made by our armed forces during the 1971 war. On Vijay Diwas, I pay homage to the brave hearts who displayed unparalleled courage and achieved historic victory." Prime Minister Narendra Modi too paid homage to the brave hearts in a social media post. He said, and I quote, "Today on Vijay Diwas, we pay heartfelt tributes to all brave heroes who dutifully served India in 1971, ensuring a decisive victory. Their valor and dedication remain a source of immense pride for the nation. Their sacrifices and unwavering spirit will forever be etched in the people's hearts and our nation's history. India salutes their courage and remembers their indomitable spirit." India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, along with CDS General Anil Chauhan, Army Chief General Manoj Pandey, Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar and RAF Vice Chief Air Marshal Amarpreet Singh laid wreath at the National War Memorial on the occasion of Vijay Diwas. Vijay Diwas is celebrated every year in India to mark the victory of India in 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. After a fierce battle that lasted for 13 days, the war ended on 16th of December 1971. On 16th of December, nearly 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered in front of Indian Army. This was the biggest surrender in the world in any war after the World War II. General Officer commanding Dakshin Bharat area of Indian Army, Lieutenant General K.S. Brar, other senior military officials and veterans laid wreaths and paid respects to fallen heroes of our nation on 52nd anniversary of India's victory in 1971 Indo-Pak War. Marking the day, Vijay Diwas was celebrated in Indian state of West Bengal on Saturday. The celebrations took place at Vijay Smarak in Eastern Command Army Headquarters in Kolkata. Going back to our top story, PM Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with Oman Sultan. Let's play out the opening remarks of PM Modi on this occasion.
सदियों से भारत और ओमान गहरी मित्रता के अटूट संबंध रहे हैं। अरब सागर के एक छोर पर भारत है तो दूसरे छोर पर ओमान है। हमारी आपसी निकटता केवल भूगोल तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि ये हमारे हजारों वर्षों से चले रहे व्यापार और संस्कृति और हमारी समान प्राथमिकताओं से भी झलकती है। इस यशस्वी इतिहास के बलबूते पर हम एक उज्जवल भविष्य की संरचना कर रहे हैं।
India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal launches Logistics Ease Across Different States 2023 report, which can enhance performance of logistics across various states and union territories.
Unlocking the potential of a Viksit Bharat, India envisions a remarkable $32 trillion GDP by 2047. Enter Leads 2023, the Logistics Ease Across Different States initiative, a game changer in the nation's growth narrative. It has made substantial improvements in assessing and enhancing the performance of logistics across various states and union territories.
Logistics sector will be a cornerstone in our endeavor to take India to a 10x level from 3.5 trillion to 35 trillion by 2047. India stands out as a bright star. India stands out as a country which under Prime Minister Modi's leadership has deftly managed the economy very well. We have become the fastest growing large economy consistently for some years now and expected to continue to be so.
This platform serves as a valuable resource, providing actionable insights to states' UTs for strategic decision-making, thereby promoting a competitive federalism model in logistics development across the nation.
This Leads Report 2023, it's the 5th edition, will significantly give us the pathway to further invigorize this sector, make it more, help it to contribute to a better sector in the days ahead. These reports are encouraging the states also and other stakeholders to see how they can improve their processes, how they can contribute to a better future of the logistics sector.
Leads 2023 report grouped states' UTs into groups based on their geography: coastal, landlocked, northeast and union territories, and further categorized them into achievers, fast movers and aspirers depending on their logistical performance across 3 pillars: quality of logistics services and operating and regulatory environment. The Leads 2023 report lauds India's strides in infrastructure and propel India's logistics sector into a game-changing sector.
The 5th edition of the Leads report is expected to change the gamut of logistic ecosystem in the country. It is expected that India will become a developed nation by 2047 and its GDP will touch the 32 trillion mark, and this report is expected to play a pivotal role in that. With camera person Kumar Datta, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
India has called on the United Nations to exercise zero tolerance against terror groups and their sponsors as well. In an open debate on small arms today, Indian Parliament representative to the UN, Ruchira Kamboj, noted that India attaches high importance to preventing and eradicating the illicit trade in small arms and light weapons.
The illicit traffic of small arms and light weapons and related ammunition is a key enabler for sustaining conflicts by armed and terrorist groups. This necessitates the need for coordinated efforts by states to limit the acquisition of small arms and light weapons by such actors. It is therefore important that this Council exercises a zero tolerance to terror actors and their sponsors, their possession and misuse of small arms and light weapons.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with beneficiaries of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra today. Prime Minister will also address the gathering on the occasion. Thousands of beneficiaries from across the country will join the event. During the program, the Prime Minister will flag off the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra reached Jammu and Kashmir's Doda with a vibrant program at the Community Hall Doda in Municipal Council Doda. The event, graced by Chief Guest Deputy Commissioner Doda Harvinder Singh along with a galaxy of officers from various departments, witnessed the distribution of Ujjwala gas connections, sanctioning of loans under the PM Swanidhi scheme, financial assistance to the beneficiaries under PMAYU and renewed spirit of development in the community. Indian Navy's warship and maritime patrol aircraft responded swiftly to a hijacking incident in the Arabian Sea. A Malta-flagged vessel with 18 crew members on board had sent a mayday message on 14th of December, indicating boarding by nearly 6 unknown personnel. The Navy diverted its maritime patrol aircraft undertaking surveillance in the area and its warship on anti-piracy patrol in the Gulf Aden to locate and assist the vessel. The aircraft have been continuously monitoring movement of the vessel, which is now heading towards the coast of Somalia. Let's now take a look at other stories making news across the country. Well, it is just one day to go for the second edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam from 17th to 30th of December. It's an event which brought together vibrant cultures of Kashi and Tamil Nadu, strengthening the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. It's a journey of shared connections, honoring the rich heritage of Indian civilization. The first batch from Tamil Nadu will leave for Kashi tomorrow to participate in the Kashi Tamil Sangamam 2.0. India's capital Delhi temperatures have been sliding for a few days now as cool winds course rapidly through the city. The city's daytime temperatures, which so far have remained pleasant, will likely get even lower in the coming days. The India Meteorological Department said weather conditions are unlikely to change over the next few days and that this will allow northwesterly winds to cocoon the capital. Students from various schools and colleges came together to form a human chain spanning 15 km here in the Indian state of Gujarat. The students, adorned with a tricolor band, made a picturesque scene along the route. The chain was made to send the message of green city, clean city and safe city. India's Defence Research and Development Organization has successfully carried out a flight trial of autonomous flying wind technology demonstrator, which is an indigenous high-speed flying wind unmanned aerial vehicle. With this, India has joined the elite club of countries to have mastered the controls for the flying wing technology. Well, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Japan hosting the 3-day ASEAN-Japan Commemorative Summit in Tokyo. The United Nations Security Council extended the mission of the sanctions monitoring team against the Taliban administration for another year.
We are taking a close look at the profession of diplomacy, the way it has evolved, the Indian Foreign Service, which is the crux of Indian diplomacy, and the changes that we have seen in the Indian Foreign Service over the decades, the challenges that lie ahead for the Indian Foreign Service, and what it is to be a Foreign Service officer.
This is a historic moment for India. And the Foreign Service, the diplomats of today have the great opportunity to take forward the dream, to help realize the dream of a Shresth Bharat, Mahan Bharat, and India's move from a major power to a great power.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. The culmination of COP28 on Friday in Dubai resulted in a landmark text known as the UAE Consensus, agreed upon by 198 parties. We bring you the wrap-up update from the recently concluded COP28, where history has been made, launching the world into an era of climate action.
The culmination of COP28 stands as a historic milestone as 198 parties unite under the UAE Consensus, a landmark text that outlines an ambitious climate agenda. The goal, keeping the global temperature rise within the critical threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Let's delve into the key highlights of the UAE Consensus. COP28 didn't just end with rhetoric, but presented a comprehensive plan addressing the global stocktake, including transitioning away from fossil fuels, encouraging economy-wide nationally determined contributions, and specific targets for renewable and energy efficiency by 2030. Under its action agenda, the COP28 presidency took bold steps across the 4 pillars of the Paris Agreement, focusing on a just energy transition, climate finance, reform, people and nature, and full inclusivity in climate action. COP28 showcased an unparalleled commitment to funding climate action, mobilizing over $85 billion. Notable achievements include agreements on loss and damage, advancements in the global goal on adaptation, and breakthroughs in the energy transition. This COP was hailed as the most inclusive, ensuring active participation from civil society, youth, and indigenous peoples in the decision-making process. Beyond negotiated text, COP28 delivered historic outcomes, operationalizing loss and damage, providing a framework for the global goal on adaptation, and institutionalizing the role of the youth climate champion. COP28 successfully mobilized over $83 billion, marking a new era of financial commitment to address climate challenges. A total of 11 pledges and declarations were launched, receiving unprecedented support from the international community. On the inaugural day of COP28, a historic agreement was reached to operationalize and capitalize funding for loss and damage, with an impressive $792 million already pledged. Key endorsements and declarations cover a range of critical areas, including renewables, agriculture, health, and more, with overwhelming support from nations and organizations. Financial pledges and contributions span various sectors, from loss and damage to Green Climate Fund, Adaptation Fund, and beyond, showcasing a robust commitment to addressing climate challenges. The outcomes of COP28 signal a turning point in global efforts to combat climate change.
Japan is providing Malaysia with an extra $3 million in security assistance as the 2 countries met on the sidelines of ASEAN Summit in Tokyo. The bloc and Japan are commemorating 50 years of cooperation, with a 3-day meeting aimed at agreeing on a new vision for the future of Asia-Pacific. Chris Gilbert reports from Tokyo.
Well, there is the expectation that on the last day of the summit, there's going to be a joint declaration from the ASEAN members, as well as Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. But the summit is producing announceables already. The Prime Minister has had a flurry of bilateral meetings throughout the day with a chunk of ASEAN member countries. But most interestingly, the meeting with Malaysia resulted in a signing ceremony where Japan is providing about another $3 million in OSA, that's official security assistance, which is a grant program set up earlier in 2023, where Japan is effectively providing this money, which is specifically for the benefit of the armed forces in Malaysia to effectively boost their ability to enhance their security, in this case, their surveillance and warning systems. There was also a meeting between Fumio Kishida, the Prime Minister, and the King of Brunei, and there was a conversation in that meeting about the rule of law and the maritime zones around Brunei. Now, those 2 are significant because they, along with Vietnam and the Philippines, are the 2 countries which are directly experiencing the consequences of China's military ascendance in the South China Sea and in the Taiwan Strait area, the physical expansion of China into these maritime areas. And we've seen in just the last week or 2 how that can manifest with Philippine Coast Guard and the Chinese Coast Guard having a very physical interaction. And we've also seen the leaders of the United States and China both visit Vietnam recently to try and boost ties with that country. So there was a lot of competition for these countries, and here we have Japan stepping in with things like the OSA and an extra $3 million of security for Malaysia. Day 2 is a day of talks, group talks amongst ASEAN countries and Japan, and the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and the Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Day 3 is going to be the ASEC talks. It's the Asia Zero Emissions Community. So it'll be a focus on energy transition, and we're also expecting, again, that joint statement and an implementation plan to realize a new vision for the future, is what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is pitching, based on person-to-person interactions, peace and stability, and new communities and new economies. And experts here are saying that this is a pivotal moment for Japan, perhaps even more than a G7, to prove itself as a leader of Asia-Pacific countries. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo reporting for DD India.
3 Pakistani police officers were killed in a gun battle with terrorists near the northwestern Afghan border, in an uptick in violence, raising security concerns ahead of national elections early next year. The attack came within 2 days of another such militant attack in the region, which killed 23 Pakistani soldiers in Dera Ismail Khan district. The United Nations Security Council has extended the mission of the sanctions monitoring group against the Taliban administration for another year. The UNSC members, in a meeting on Thursday, approved Resolution 2716, requesting the sanctions monitoring team to support the committee established by Resolution 1988. The US ambassador to the United Nations regarded the continuation of sanctions against the Taliban as support for peace and security in Afghanistan. Now, talking about the bilateral talks which PM Modi had with Oman Sultan, India's PM Modi said that India-Oman was adopting a new joint vision for future. He stressed that the joint vision would enhance the partnership between the two countries.
आज हम एक नए इंडिया-ओमान जॉइंट विजन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फॉर फ्यूचर को एडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं। इस जॉइंट विजन में 10 विभिन्न क्षेत्रों पर ठोस एक्शन पॉइंट्स पर सहमति बनी है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि यह जॉइंट विजन हमारी साझेदारी को एक नया और आधुनिक स्वरूप देगा। मुझे खुशी है पक्षों के बीच सीपा एग्रीमेंट पर चर्चा जारी है। इस वार्ता के 2 राउंड सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न किए जा चुके हैं, जिसमें कई महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दों पर सहमति बन चुकी है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि हम जल्द ही इस एग्रीमेंट को साइन कर पाएंगे, जिससे हमारे आर्थिक सहयोग में एक नए अध्याय का जुड़ना हो जाएगा।
And meanwhile, Bangladesh is celebrating its 53rd victory day, known as Bijoy Divas, to mark the liberation from Pakistan in 1971 on Saturday. On this day, in 1971, the Pakistani armed forces, led by General A.A.K. Niazi, surrendered before the Indian Army and the Mukti Bahini Liberation Force of Bangladesh with over 90,000 of its troops, which ended the 9-month-long struggle of the people of Bangladesh. Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Saturday paid tributes to the martyrs of the 1971 Liberation War by placing wreaths at the National Memorial in Sawar on the outskirts of Dhaka, marking the 53rd victory day. Friends, actor Matthew Perry died from the acute effects of ketamine, a sedative sometimes used to treat depression. According to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office, drowning and heart disease were found to be contributing factors. Perry, best known for his role as Chandler Bing of the hit television sitcom Friends, was found dead in the jacuzzi of his Los Angeles home on 28th of October. The actor's death happened a year after publication of his memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, in which he chronicled his decades-long bouts with addiction to prescription painkillers and alcohol.
Buprenorphine and the ketamine were likely used in appropriate settings. What was inappropriate in this case was, or potentially inappropriate in this case, is the additional doses of ketamine or the use of ketamine outside of what may have been prescribed or doses that may have been prescribed.
Reacting to the ruling recognizing Prince Harry as a victim of phone hacking and other unlawful acts, Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said on Friday that everyone needs to operate within the law. And time now for a sport. India women's team have annihilated England to set a new record for the biggest win by a run margin in the history of women's test. India made 428 runs after opting to bat first. Deepti Sharma then took a 5-wicket haul in quick time to skittle England out for a mere 136 in 35.3 overs. India did not enforce the follow-on and declared their second dig at 186 for the loss of 6 wickets, setting a 478 runs target for England to win. Indian pacers led the early blows with Pooja Vastrakar taking 3 wickets before Deepti Sharma added 4 more wickets to her kitty as England were bowled out for 131. Multiple changes in India's squad against South Africa for tests and ODIs. Fast bowler Deepak Chahar has withdrawn from ODIs due to family medical emergency, while Mohammad Shami has been ruled out from tests due to injury. The BCCI said that Akash Deep has replaced Chahar in the one-day international squad. The ODI series begins on Sunday. Pacer Mohammad Shami failed to regain fitness on time and has been ruled out from the 2-match test series against South Africa starting December 26. After the conclusion of the first ODI, batter Shreyas Iyer will join the test squad to prepare for the test series. All right, and that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.